Alright guys, so we're going to start this video off. We got a 2003 to 2005. I think this one was an 04.5, but get the point, same thing. We have this truck with a little bit of a transmission leak. So, I guess he took it to another shop at some point, and they had told him that he didn't have a leak. I don't know if the leak just wasn't as bad. So, if you guys don't remember this truck, I think I put injectors in this one a long while back and a couple other little odds and ends. So what we're going to do today is we're pulling everything off the front end to get to the trans cooler because we definitely have a leak down there. We're going to take care of that, and then we are dropping the fluid. We're going to change the fluid, and we're going to adjust the bands. So I'm going to show you guys a video on that. Now, I want you guys to know I don't film everything that I do. I do take pictures of a lot of things, but some stuff doesn't end up here. This truck here, we were diagnosing an emissions problem, which we got that figured out. We know what it is, and we were also doing the heater core. Now I'm gonna show you guys something. On these trucks, the heater cores actually aren't that bad for someone who's done a few of them, but you can see. So we also replaced this guy here for the AC. I always forget the fucking name of that thing. I don't know why I do it. But we pulled this thing out, and I don't know. Let's turn the light on. If you guys can see down in there. This thing was 100% clogged. And by that, I mean, I tried to blow in there while the tubes were still connected. Disgusting, by the way. Don't recommend it. I could not get it to blow through. So that thing was stuck. We have this truck. This truck, and we have one more truck I got to get done by the end of the week, and then we're done for the week. But we are heading down to Florida on Friday, so you guys love that type of content. But my goal here was to get everything off of the front end, pull the intercooler, maybe pull this side lines and whatnot, but I definitely want to get this thing taken care of for him because he is also going to Florida on Friday, and he said, yeah, I could take another vehicle, but I'd like to take this. So that's what we're going to do. Let's start taking this AC parts off, the intercooler off. We're going to take all that stuff off so that way we can access the cooler. All right, so usually we got all the front end stuff off. Usually I clean the entire engine bay. Like I would come in here with degreaser and take care of all that, clean everything off. But seeing where this is at, obviously there's something in here. So what I'm gonna do, just for video's sake, is I'm gonna come up here and I'm gonna start it. That e-brake is not doing shit. So what we're gonna do, I'm gonna probably regret this. So obviously, nothing should be coming out of it. Oh yeah, never mind. All right, well, never mind. So, if you guys understand how Dodges work, there should be no flow at all whatsoever. But safe to say we found our leak pretty instantly. So, it's not those, we need a cooler. Alright, so we got the cooler. I think that's Dorman. We got a filter, gasket, all that, and a full case of ATF plus 4. And yeah, these little fittings will be in tomorrow. Full Send Diesel has been so kind as to next day them. Believe it or not, they're actually close enough to me where it's like everything just comes the next day anyway. So I told him as long as they come tomorrow, he can pick this thing up tomorrow. But you guys can see this massive transmission leak. So this floor is gonna get some love after this truck goes out. Like this entire frame didn't help the rockers much, but this entire frame is just coated. So what we're gonna do is I might actually just jack this thing up a little bit, give me some clearance. That nut's coming loose right there. So I'll put this thing up in the air a little bit so I can actually work. Fluid looks great, but I bet you guys know why that is. When you have a tranny leak that much, it leaks it all. And you get to put new fluid in it constantly. Let that rain a little bit. So he wanted me to check the magnet. This is pretty much it. There's not really anything crazy. There was a little bit of gunk on it, nothing crazy. So I'm gonna get this all cleaned up, throw a new gasket on it. We're gonna adjust the second gear band while we're in here as well. like I was saying earlier, but get this guy slapped back on. Got to check and see what size. It's going to be a Torx bit, but got to figure out what size it's going to be. But it doesn't look bad in here. I mean, it's all new fluid for obvious reasons, but yeah, I'm going to use my camera to get down in there. Okay, Torx bits. So let's get those pulled and go from there. Not too bad. All right, sorry, didn't film much of it, but we got the band adjusted up there and over there. So we got the low reverse and we got the second gear band adjusted. New filter, bada bing, bada boom. And now we're gonna put the cover back on. And we're technically done for the day because I think all I really gotta do yet, so the full send diesel lines, what you do is you cut right here. So we gotta cut those off, spray it out, vacuum it out, flush the cooler, and then we can put the new fitting things on. I already threw them out, but you guys see, I'll show you how they work tomorrow, but like this will screw on to this, and then there's a little washer thing that gets crushed down, so super easy. But yeah, I'm gonna get this cleaned up and put this pan back on and start getting it filled. These are the tools of choice. So this is everything we had to use for band adjustment, getting everything down, replacing the filter, this and that. It's really not that bad. Just, this is the pile of tools you're gonna use. Ignore the hammer. That was supposed to be if the pan didn't come off, you take a little pry bar and you pound it in, but this one, there was no RTV on it, so no need for the hammer and it just dropped. So next step, we're gonna get this thing cut off right here. And then, yeah, just chop it right there. Angle grinder needed, and then we will clean and spray this out with brake cleaner. Make sure that none of these debris get into here. I've done this quite a few times. These full send diesel transmission lines are my favorite personally, because they're simple and they delete that shit. The factory cooler on the side of the block, which you guys can see. We did the delete on this one a while ago. He actually replaced one of these thinking that it was leaking. So I told him that I will go through and rewire all of that. And yeah, so, because he cut all the zip ties and replaced the line. So once everything's in place, we're gonna go through, zip tie all that, make sure it's not gonna fail again. I don't like that. Oh, that's because he, okay, that makes sense, because no liner. But yeah, and then once we're done, we're gonna take this up to the wash bay and get everything sprayed off and clean. All right, so here's what we got. You can see how nice and clean those are. Okay, probably gonna brush it up a little bit, but we'll see if that thing slides over. Gotta wait till tomorrow to do that, but that's pretty much it for the day. It's about 2:30 now, so I've been trying to schedule myself as smart as possible. I don't want to add a ton of work, but we got the whole bottom, most of that stuff cleaned up. So yeah, now that you know, I have to leave on Friday, I'm trying to be smart with how I schedule stuff. So what I'm gonna do, this one will be out, done 100% tomorrow. You stupid bastards. That bird right there. His buddy just jumped down. I'm gonna get him. All right, appreciate you. Full Send Diesel sent these out in a pretty big hurry. So they're not too far from me. Appreciate you, Kevin. I ordered these on Tuesday. It is now, what is today? Today is Wednesday. I think I actually ordered them on Monday, I think, and they came on Wednesday. So basically the reason that you can't reuse these, so how these go is you take this fitting here and you have to do a little bit of trimming. Let me see if, okay, so I didn't do enough. We're gonna have to do that. You take this little guy, this will go in on here. We're gonna have to trim out the edges a little bit more to get this to go down. That'll sit like that. And then you put this inside there and it actually crushes that and forms to this. So I am gonna have to do a little bit more trimming out around this. And then what we'll do is we'll throw it on. And you guys can see here, which We're going to use the new ends, not those. So these things come complete, which is awesome. So let's get to trimming, throw these on. All right, so these things are absolutely a pain in the ass. Once they're on, they're great. You can see we had to do a lot of trimming on this thing to get this thing to sit down there. 22 mil on here to like screw it down. Got that guy down in there, and gonna try tightening this up without having it pull. But this side went on no problem, so we're gonna get that tightened up. But this side, I think that this one's wanting to pull, because you can see right there versus that one, this one's pulling, and I don't like that. So we don't want that to come up too far, but once it seals against it, it pretty much locks it that there's no way for it to leak. All right, so we're getting them installed. Just got to tighten this up. So these two are tight. Now we got to work on this one. Honestly, if you guys are going to do this, I recommend pulling this thing 100%. I am going to recommend to him a thermostat delete, which I don't know if it'll work with this specific cooler. I'll have to look it up. But basically, you pull this thing out. I think I said something about it in the beginning of the video. This thing is going to get all bent up and this and that. So just keep that in mind. Don't worry about it too much. Just try not to put any holes in it while you're doing this. These are 100% going to need grinded down for those to fit on there. They will not fit if you do not grind them down. At least the Dorman unit. But other than that, once those are tightened, I'm going to go through and redo all this stuff. So, like I said earlier, he replaced this stuff in here. He replaced one of these lines. I think this is the newer one. You can see it. So we're going to zip tie and put those things nicely in place and check it for leaks, and then go clean it up, send it out the door. But yeah, this is a fun, lengthy process. Generally, I was going to charge about 2 hours for this. Probably it's going to be about 2.5 hours all said and done on this. So just keep in mind, this is a pretty lengthy process getting those pieces on. So there's two ways that I recommend doing these. A lot of times when I take stuff apart, like big stuff that's going to take me a while, like you see these little bolts here, like say I'm going to pull an engine, right? A lot of times I'll put everything back. So you guys can see over here my organization tray. Like these, when I pull the intercooler out, I'll put these in a couple of turns so I know where all the bolts go. And I used to do that a lot. I still kind of do it for the bigger jobs, but for stuff like this, I use these trays here. You can see I have a bunch of them up there as well. So these go for the trans cooler, these go for the intercooler, and then these go for the AC condenser. And then I kind of organize my bolts. And I clean this whole tray after every single job. But my 2 cents, keep yourself organized. Make sure you're doing this stuff right. I left this guy out so that I could put these bolts back in. I left out only the tools I'm going to need. I did have to grab the angle grinder and the impact. The impact was just kind of to screw those on, and using the friction to help me. So we're going to get this on, fill it up with tranny fluid. I'm going to let it run with the intercooler off and everything so that we can check it for leaks. Once we verify that there are no leaks, then we can throw the intercooler and the condenser on. But I'd hate to throw all this stuff back on to find out we have a leak and then take it all back off. So keep that in mind as well. All right, so here's where we're at. We got everything nice and zip tied. Keep in mind, he did the upper line, so that's the way he had it routed. The way I do these, which you guys have seen before, I like it. Keeps it clean, simple. Just like that, zip tie between. I have it up here, cable tied and tied to that, so it avoids the steering, and then to the fuel line. So you can see, nice zip tie down the middle. No leaks, we are good. Just checked all the oil pan bolts. I was a little loose on some of them, but not a big deal, it wasn't leaking. So checked all them, retorqued everything, and she is good to go. All right, truck drives out, bay's cleaned up. Check it for leaks. Don't see nothing. Let it run in neutral for a while. We'll get that cleaned up because there's still a bunch of residual. Hell yeah. Cool. Lines look good. Alright, so aside from the seatbelt light, we are driving her. Shift's good. get it up to 50. Well, guess that's not gonna happen. We will do it on the way back. All right, so we're losing battery life, but I got everything cleaned up. I even did the truck itself. Main reasoning, there's transmission fluid all over this thing. So I went down, did the entire frame, and just gave the body a spray down. But you guys can see how much nicer it looks. You just gotta be careful, don't spray the PCM. Look how much better that looks. Yeah, I get you, you're there. But yeah, look how much nicer that looks on the inside. So I'm gonna go drive it. I'd like to get this thing up to 50. Get the torque converter to lock up, and then we'll get back to the shop, check the fluid. But this is probably the last thing you're gonna see on the truck because my phone's dead. So, and I don't have a charger in this truck, so you probably won't see it until I get home. But even sprayed all back here and whatnot because the fluid going up. So, see you guys. Appreciate you guys for watching. It's not a bad night tonight, but I think tonight's the last nice weather night we got. So, gonna go drive this thing, and we are done for the week. All right, so I lied. I'm gonna film this until it's dead, but everything's good. Check the fluid, perfect level. Runs great. I did get it to go into lockup. He wanted to make sure this trans was fine because he did run this thing out of fluid a few times with how bad that leak was. So we got everything taken care of. You guys can see there is no drops underneath the truck at all. There will be a little bit of residual that I can't get to without pulling the cooler and cleaning all up under there from the front cross member. But this thing is a hell of a lot cleaner. Runs really good now. Don't have to worry about leaks. And he is taking this thing to Florida on Friday. The same thing, I'm taking Bertha to Florida. So I've kind of like gone through and organized a bunch of shit.